I mean, there was cash bags of money being handed around that smelt mouldy because it had been buried or something. It was an absolute roadblock. I had Carl Cox playing at midnight, and Oakenfold, I think, came on no, it was Oaking, then Carl, and a week later, Pepper Azure bought me a Breitling watch as a thank you. And it was like, yes, we did it. When we did the first ever Dort Villa show, and just standing on that stage and looking out and thinking, my God, Romans used to party here, and now we're doing it in a World Heritage
Site. You're the first to do an actual party up there.
Yeah, we're still the only ones that they really let do it, our music. I mean, they do a jazz festival and a fashion show.
There's lots of festivals, aren't there? Spain's famous for its festivals.
But they don't let anybody do electronic music up there other than us.
Welcome to the Ibiza Hall of Fame podcast with myself, Clara Griffin, and also Big Al. Our next inductee is the mastermind behind some of the most historic chapters in Ibiza's clubbing history, to bring in David Guetta and Swedish House Mafia Supasha, and one of the co-founders of the IMS. He is also the musical director and brand manager behind Club Chinois. Please welcome to the Ibiza Hall of Fame, Danny Whittle.
Hello, mate.
Hi, how you doing?
You good, mate?
Hello,
You good?
lovely to meet you.
You too.
So we would love to know about your history in Ibiza. When did you first visit Ibiza?
Well, I first came in '96 to work, and that was with Renaissance, with Jeff Oakes. I was working for Jeff back in the UK, doing his events and stately home shows. And then we decided we came out to do a one-off in Privilege. It was Coup at the time, with Manumission. So we went and decorated the whole club, hanging clouds and lightning bolts and everything else.
It was probably the last year of Coup, was it?
I think it was pretty much 96, probably, close.
I think the year after it changed over to Privilege.
So
no, 96, it was Privilege, because I did 96 in Privilege.
I can just remember it being Coup for some reason. Maybe it was 95.
No, it was because I was here. I did do Thursday nights there.
Yeah, okay.
Went up against Cream.
Yeah. But anyway, so we were, clearly no health and safety rules in them days.
There wasn't, no.
Putting up big ladders and hanging clouds right up in the roof. And so on, and quite Wild West, I think, at that time, with things like posters and flyering and everything
Poster
else,
wars.
and getting paid. But 96. So I think 95, 96.
Right. And how did it come about that you got your job here in '96? Did you know people back in
the Renaissance thing,
in the UK?
It was working for Renaissance in the UK, and I came over with Renaissance.
Amazing.
And then what happened is we then got a residency in Pasha on Wednesdays, which was the year of the butterflies. I don't know if you remember that, when we put all butterflies over the outside of Pasha. It was absolutely beautiful.
Beautiful, yeah.
And you spotlight them all. And then I think 2 years later, I got asked to run Ministry of Sound in Pasha, which was on Friday night. So I run Ministry for a year, and then I went to Home at the time, and we and then ended up in Space for the Sundays at Space, and then I got invited back. My last show I did for Home was Bondi Beach for the Millennium with 20,000 people with Carl Cox, which was amazing. And then that January, I got a call from Ricardo Ugel saying, do you want to come and programme the whole club, Pasha, and come and work here, and I'll give you a villa. And I went, let me think, okay, and I came very quickly. Within a week, I'd moved to Ibiza, basically.
Amazing. So, and with like Renaissance and some of these other club nights like Ministry of Sound, how would you describe them to like the younger generation? What were they like back then?
I think what we said earlier, I mean, and Alan know more than me because he was here before me, but it was very Wild West. It was poster wars, it was flyers and people, and struggling to get paid with some clubs. And
well, you sort of made it a bit more professional almost.
Well, that was the idea.
You did do that.
I think because I'm ex-military and I was a fireman for 10 years, I kind of came into the world of nightclubbing with that kind of approach that I'm going to get out of bed in the morning, I'm going to get contracts signed, I'm going to get agreements confirmed.
So we never done none of that.
And that needed to evolve because it started to become about big money. And in the end,
I mean, it was big money back in my day
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, sure.
But I mean, it was the wild. You're exactly right. It was the Wild West. I mean, you had people coming to this island that come from England, come from wherever they come from, and suddenly they're running clubs that hold thousands and thousands of people. And you are talking serious money. And really serious money to the clubs themselves.
Yes.
Because they've got the bar and they're taking some of the door, and it started to get serious, and the likes of yourself made it more professional, definitely.
And then back then it was cash, mostly cash.
Oh, there was a lot of cash.
What was the bookkeeping like back then?
What bookkeeping? I mean, it was Spain in general. In fact, a lot of countries in Europe at that time was a cash thing. There was still lots of cash. I mean, there was cash bags of money being handed around that smelt moldy because it had been buried or something. And really, I think it was the arrival of the euro that sort of addressed that problem, where they had to suddenly account for the pesetas they wanted to change into euros. It needed to be accounted for. And I think that's partly what the euro was doing, was it was trying to get countries in Europe to clean their act up. Unfortunately.
I mean, I used to quite love it. Pepper used to do the money at Pacha. You hit the buzzer, he sees it's you, he opens you go up, there might be one or two in front of you, and it's like, we're talking 6, 7 in the morning.
Totally.
And you're going upstairs to get paid.
And
it's like, I mean, you walk out with a big bag of cash.
Totally.
Every night. You do it. It's like, it was.
Well, we also used to. I mean, our flyers. I would get my flyers to initial their flyer. Every flyer they gave out.
They get a day of the week. They get kickback.
The day of the week they gave it out, and then I give them a code for the area they gave them. And that was so that I could really research what marketing was working and what wasn't. So if I was got a crew flyering down at Talamanca on a Wednesday afternoon and none of those flyers came in, then I didn't bother flying in Talamanca. I'd double up somewhere else. So all that time was about collecting data as well as making sure they got paid. Because they got paid, I don't know, whatever it was, €2 a flyer. But you got kids getting in 200-300 euros a night. 200-300 flyers a night, making 400 quid a night, euros a night.
Wow.
And they deserved it if they were doing the work.
They grabbed it. One of my best flyers now, then, Emma Craythorne, she's now got her own TV show on she's a skin specialist in Harley Street, and she's got one of these skin shows. But all the time she was working for me, she was working her way through university.
Paid
coming
away.
over here,
paid away.
Working really hard all summer, going back to uni, coming back the next year, and she was consistently the best flyer. They worked really hard.
She had a cause, didn't she?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it worked for her. Now she's very successful.
Now, famously, you can't fly anymore, can you?
No.
I mean, it was illegal back then. I mean, my early days, pretty much. I used to tell all my staff, if the police capture you, don't get lippy, don't get leery. They'll take you to the police station, and then they're going to let you out, and that's it. Obviously
they'll take your flyers off.
Take your flyers off you, and that's it. And that was pretty much the end of it. But then, as it went on a bit more your time, probably there was you started getting fines, didn't you? You started getting the fines.
Absolutely.
And then when the fines became too much, that's when the clubs went, no, we can't do this anymore. Can't do the flying. And it also just coincided with social media. So that worked out okay, didn't it?
Absolutely.
How much were the fines?
Oh, they could be quite big.
I mean, and 3,000-4,000 euros. And illegal posters. At one point, where they were putting them, say, on a telegraph pole or a lamppost, it'd be like 1,000 euros a poster. But then what was happening? There's other clubs that putting your posters onto telegraph poles to get you fines. I mean, that's how cowboy it was,
No,
so they would take your poster down from where it should be and put it where it shouldn't be. So you get a fine. Brutal.
I mean, as I say, you're right. The early days were really the Wild West. We're all finding our way as well. That's my blueprint basically it was the blueprint for what came afterwards. With it, giving out flyers, doing the beaches, doing the bars, doing the posters. The clubs are already doing that, but not to the extent that I was. I mean, I just went mental. You know, I'd get a load of the kids running down the beaches, running down the bars. I got away with that quite a few years, didn't I? With until everyone sort of realised in '94 and they all turned up. Didn't
they? When you think about it as well, the industry itself was very young.
Yeah,
that was still finding its way. It was still only 10 years old. Really.
I keep telling the people that when we started, it was an underground scene. It wasn't what it is now. No. This is a global phenomenon now. But back then, it really was an underground scene, and people were coming from all over the world just to come to them parties because they knew that these special DJs were playing at these parties.
But even in the UK, it was underground. It was illegal raves, it was drug dealing, it was all of those things. That's how the industry started off, essentially. And it now, I mean, you saw the IMS business report. It's $13 billion a year industry. And proper money. So it's evolved, but like you say, at that time, everybody was finding the way how to make the industry grow.
And listen, them little acorns, they're coming to fruition now, aren't they?
Exactly. Totally. I mean, when you look at now, it's the cost of some of the DJs and the money that's going into nightclubs now. It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
But you must know this more than anyone. Some of them are outpricing themselves for normal clubs.
Yeah.
I mean, your club is not you work for Chinois. You work for Chinois, and it's only so many people you can get in it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got, you've got Pachar or you've got High or Universe, they're huge. They can take big numbers.
Absolutely.
So, but then you've got Esperidis and yourself. Yeah. Smaller clubs, they can't book those superstars, can they?
Absolutely. There's no way I could book a David Guetta or a Calvin Harris or somebody like that.
The money's just not there,
impossible,
is
it? But at the same time, what we need to do with Chinois, what Chinois really is it's a nursery.
Yeah.
And
the next one.
And a retirement home at the same time. And I mean that in the nicest possible way.
Yeah,
I don't mean that DJ retiring. What I mean is they've peaked. But they have still great value. They can still put 1,500 people into our club and have a great night.
Yeah. And good people as well.
Yeah, but then what we're doing with the nursery side is we're trying to discover new talent and are always discovering new talent.
That's a part of our job, isn't it?
But then we know they're going to disappear.
Yeah.
Because after 2-3 years with us, the big checks come out.
And then they're gone.
But we just have to accept that and just be proud that we at least got them for a while, So
I mean, it was the same with me. I mean, the early days, I got lucky because I brought over some of the turned into absolute superstars, like the likes of Cole Cox and these people. But I never booked them once they had made their way. It was almost impossible to book them once. It evolves, doesn't it?
It evolves, and I think when people talk about being loyal. I think loyalty is a two-way street.
It's about money.
They're not going to stay with you and lose loads of money. And if you're loyal to them, you'll let them go and shake their hands and say thanks.
It is a business, isn't it? It's a business.
It's a two-way thing.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
well, we asked you a few set questions on the pod. We're talking about DJs. Who's your favourite DJ?
I suppose. I mean, I wouldn't have one favourite DJ.
No. Many friends that are DJs.
Yeah, I mean, I love Sasha. I've always loved Sasha's music. I've always loved Danny Tenaglia. Steve Lawler was up there for me as well for many, many years and still is, to be honest. And then you've got some great kids coming through. Frankie War, Miss Monique, that I think are really making a mark on the scene. And they love the music. They're making music as well.
Yeah.
They're not
they
just
have to. The big ones have to make music.
Yeah, they have to, And so... Manu Gonzalez, who I manage, I've got to mention him, and Archie I manage as well. So, and they're very talented kids. They're very good at what they do, and they work really, really hard. So, but listen, for me, Tenaglia doing an 18-hour set is
he comes up a lot because he's a DJ's DJ, isn't he? And he really is at the top of his game, isn't he?
Yeah.
And he's been at the top of his game for a long time. He's sort of a bit of a sort of the American Cole Cox almost, I would say.
Yeah.
Everyone loves what he does.
Yeah.
In the music he makes, everything. He's a superstar, isn't he?
No, totally. And you know what? They're artists. When you get to Tenaglia and Sasha and people like that, they're artists. They're not just a DJ at all. They're rounded in every way. Great in the studio, great on decks, great doing live stuff. So
Yeah, a lot of people say Danny because he has got a lot of cred in this industry, definitely.
Yeah. No, and the other guy, your Laurent Garniers and Sven Vath and people of that era, they were first of all, playing on vinyl. Yeah. And secondly, they would think nothing of playing a 10, 12-hour set. I mean, all this 90-minute sets doesn't work for them.
What do you reckon on that?
Well, the problem is, because some venues can't afford the big boys, they tend to stack the lineup.
So they get an hour each.
Yeah, so it looks like it's a little mini festival, and it's got, and it's got some value.
I've done it myself. I've done it myself.
I personally don't like it. I think any night, 3 DJs playing 2.5 hours each should be about as good as it
Nicky Holloway recently on his podcast with us, what was his quote?
It's all killer.
All filler, no filler.
Yeah. There you go.
And that, he come up with a few one-liners that sum it up basically.
Well, and Nicky comes from that era as well, where people played long DJ sets, and the whole concept of a long DJ set was you take somebody on a journey, right?
Yeah.
You warm them up, you watch how they warm up, and then you've got your big stuff in the middle, and you dip up and down, and you end up. And even the last track would be almost a down tempo, a bit like when Carl closed Space.
I like the last track.
And the last track was just epic.
Isn't that an old classic soul track, wasn't it? Yeah. Love that.
Wish I Didn't Miss You, I think. Yeah.
I mean, even Alfredo back in the day, I've said it many times on the podcast, that his closing Amnesia in the early days was William Pitt. Yeah. A French artist that you never would have got played in a club, would it?
Yeah, no, listen, and God bless him.
Yeah, God bless him, We're going to do a posthumous for those guys who are no longer with us. But there's quite a few of them, Brasilio and...
Robert Miles.
Robert Miles, I haven't thought of Robert.
But he was a really good friend of mine.
His track is one of my all-time favourites. I mean, Children is one of the beautiful songs.
Well, when he passed, because he lived here for a long time.
He did, Robert. He actually died here, didn't he?
Yeah, he died here, and I was with him right the way through his illness. Well, he was like a brother to me. Yeah. But one of the nicest things ever was at the closing of Space, the last track on the terrace, Tale of Us played Children. And it was, I was welling up. I was No, listen. I had to hide my face.
There's a lot more. There's a Jose Padilla. There's a lot of people. Tony DeVee. Yeah. There's a lot of people no longer with us. Frankie Knuckles.
And not just DJs. I mean, Tony Pike and
all those guys we're going to induct. We will induct all of those guys.
Yeah.
They all deserve to be a part of this. They're no longer with us, but they need the respect that they're
part of the history, aren't they?
Yeah,
they're a massive part of the history. Without them, it wouldn't have been the same.
No, for sure.
I mean, imagine Ibiza with no pikes.
Well, but no pikes. That's
a big hole.
Well, you imagine Ibiza without Jose with the Sunset.
Yeah, absolutely.
Imagine Ibiza, without Alfredo, Amnesia, and Pachar. They are sort of, the pillar stones of how this island started.
Absolutely,
yeah. So we will do something nice for them.
Oh, cool. Look forward to that.
We've got some old footage with Club of Vision. I'm going to do a joint thing with Club of Vision. He's got loads of footage of all of those guys. And
have you spoken to Juan Suarez?
We haven't yet, no.
From down in Ibiza?
I sent a message to him yesterday asking if he'd come on, because he has got he knows a lot of this stuff, doesn't he?
He's got a book coming out.
He's in Amsterdam. He's in Amsterdam.
Okay.
But we will do him in September.
Be in touch with him, because he is...
he's got a lot of information.
An amazing encyclopedia of the history of music in Ibiza.
I knew that. I know. And, we were talking to the mayor about doing the Walk of Fame down the new boulevard now. And he would have been one of the people that are on the committee to decide who goes down. Cool. I'd ask yourself as well to come onto that.
Yeah, he's a good lad.
Yeah.
He's a nice guy.
Yes.
What have been your most memorable moments?
There's a lot of them, isn't there?
On the island. I guess there's so many.
Yeah, there is, but there are definitely standout moments that I really, really remember. I think the first one was, before Pasha, was when we decided to do Space, and the whole deal was that because Space closed at 7 o'clock in the evening and everybody disappeared,
right.
I finally, after many arguments with Dan Prince, because Dan wanted to do Sunday Central and Pasha, and I wanted to do, Darren wanted to do Home and Pasha on Sunday, and in the end they gave it to Dan, which I think Dan kind of regrets now. And anyway, it was probably not the right club for that crowd, but anyway, I was super happy because I didn't want to do Pasha. And then Darren said, try and get the deal done. So I went over and saw Fritz and Pep at the time. Yeah. And I said, okay, we want to take over the club from 7 o'clock. And Pep's like, yeah, but the club's really busy. I said, no, it's 7, you close. We'll take over from 7 till 6 in the morning. We'll do the first 22-hour party on Ibiza. And we'll just change the till rolls at 7 and we'll go 50-50 on everything. And he was, I'm not sure. Anyway, Fritz was all over it. He was like, let's do it, Pep. Anyway, the next day he said, okay, let's do it. So then the first party, and this is the highlight, it was an absolute roadblock. I had Carl Cox playing at midnight, and Oakenfold, I think, came on. No, it was Oakie, then Carl. And a week later, Pepper Azure bought me a Breitling watch as a thank you. And it was like, yes, we did it. And then it was just pretty legendary, to be honest, that whole thing. And then when
it started out, it was meant to go on.
No, it just flew instantly. Everybody got it straight away, you know. And when Fritz saw the queue outside at 7 for people coming in, you know, and people staying in the club, and he was like, "My God, you know, look at the queues down the car park." So I mean, it was
a good feeling.
It was an amazing feeling. And then I think, you know, I did that year and the next year, and then I left to go to Pasha. So it was like 98, 99, something like that. And then, you know, Mark and Sarah Broadbent took over really to do We Love at that point. They were working with Home, but I was leaving, so they really became much more involved and did an amazing job at transforming the Home style into a We Love style, which was a lot more sort of eclectic, and, you know, there was more DJs in different spaces, and the artwork, because, you know, I'm not going to say not as sophisticated as Home, but it was funkier. You know what I mean? It suited
more
that
style. More broader,
like it suited that style. They did an amazing job with that. So
it lasted a long time, didn't it?
Yeah. I mean, I think they did 12, 13 years.
And it only stopped because the club changed, didn't it?
The club changed. Fritz left.
Yeah.
They brought somebody, Juan in, and then I think they didn't get on so well, and, you know,
it's about personalities, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
it is.
People don't realise that. They think it's just big names, and that's why they get the club. Yeah. But it's not always that. You still got to work with that person.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I stopped within 4 years of being in Pasha. I bought Luciano to do Sundays with Vagabundos. And I think that made it a little bit tougher for We
I like
Love.
Luciano.
Because of that style.
I like
DJ.
his,
Another great who'd be in my top 5 for sure.
Yeah, he's a class act as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the early days when he was at the little bar Ushuaia.
Yeah.
That's when I remember
with
him.
Jan. With Jan, that's where he started. But, I mean, another highlight is doing IMS for the first time. And you know,
we were going to talk about IMS because it's important.
And year 2, the Dort Villa show, when we did the first ever Dort Villa show, and just standing on that stage and looking out and thinking, my God, Romans used to party here, and now we're doing it in a World Heritage
site. You're the first to do an actual party up there?
Yeah, we're still the only ones that they really let do it, our music. I mean, they do a jazz festival and a fashion show.
There's lots of festivals, aren't there? Spain's famous for its festivals.
But they don't let anybody do electronic music up there other than us, so for 17 years now.
It's always a good feeling to get a venue that no one else can have as well.
Absolutely.
That's always nice.
Yeah.
How was the closing party this year? Because we obviously missed that because we
the
went back home.
Amazing. I mean, Faithless was spectacular.
She's a star.
Jazzy on the big screen singing.
Oh, they had.
You know,
they had the
another
big
one.
screen.
God bless him. So we had a big screen with him on it, and and just the vibe. I mean, we made the lineup really quite young. Lots of females, a lot of youngsters. Because that's what IMS is about. It's about not being gatekeepers, but being gate openers. But what we wanted to do at the end was just finish with something really iconic for the last sort of hour. Yeah. And it was Faithless. And you know,
Sister Bliss is a great girl.
It's amazing. She's amazing. She's amazing.
Good
the whole crew were really
great
nice.
Musician. Great DJ. She's a good girl. Isn't she?
And feet on the ground. Nice person.
Very nice person.
Yeah, she's lovely. So the after party was the closing party was amazing, but it is every year, to be honest.
Talk a little bit about IMS, about the actual thing, what you're doing. So a lot of the public, it's an industry-led thing. So a lot of the public actually don't know what it is. I tried to convey quite a bit, getting a few of the industry people in, like managers and people doing stuff behind the scenes. And a lot, the public won't know much about what you do with the IMS. Explain it to the public in sort of simple terms.
Well, I think what it is, it's it's sort of indicative of how the industry has evolved into a point where it needs a conference. And the concept of the conference is to bring 2,500 delegates all together to do business.
Of all parts of this industry.
Of all parts. I mean, everything from DJs, agents, managers, design, marketing, social media. We have a wellness area. We have a safe space area, LGBTQ area. I mean, we try and cover everything to improve the industry as much as we can in every way. Yeah. The other reason is, if you want to meet 30 people from 30 different countries, you've got to take 30 flights. It's hard to get them all. Well,
a DJ, it's hard to get that many in the same place at any one time.
Well, you've got to take 30 flights. So even environmentally, it makes sense to go to a conference to meet a load of people in one go. You've only taken one flight there and back. You know, you've got to meet 30 people from Holland and Italy and this and that. Imagine the travels you'd have to do, and everybody would have to do.
And it basically is a massive networking, isn't it? That's what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, when you invited us, and thank you very much for inviting us to do the podcast this year, and it went fantastic. I got it. You know, people, they have a bit of a jolly, but they're actually working because they're networking, and I get it now completely.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, you know, our first motto, every year we have a motto. You know, this year was Reclaim the Dance Floor, I think, you know, and which is really about, you know, less phones.
The phones.
Less phones. Listen, you know, when we think about that, if I had a phone in 1989, would I have used it?
You probably would,
I would.
Yeah, you would.
We just didn't have phones, so simple as that. I think that people are overplaying it, as in to a degree, where the only picture you see on social media is a load of kids with their phones up. Yeah. But that's because the DJ's just come on. Yeah. Or they've just done a big drop.
Well, you don't have that so much in Chinois, though, do you? Chinois is not a club.
Only when the DJ comes on. You know, or there's a moment where they want to capture it, but then the phone goes away, you know.
There are places on this island that doesn't happen so much. I mean, just for instance, it's completely opposite end of the scale to you, but O Beach, you never see them that. They take photographs and that, but they're not the crowd that are going to be standing there with the DJs, even though there's some quite big DJs there. I think Pikes have put a sort of stop to it, haven't they? Yeah. And Chinois doesn't seem to happen so much either.
Not so much.
I think it's the super clubs, isn't it? It's the super clubs.
It's the super clubs because they've got the superstars.
So,
and the kids want to just capture that moment, you know. It happens with us every now and again when we've got a Moody Man playing or somebody like that. You know, because he's such a legend, people want that one photo, but then the phone goes away and they're dancing all night, you know. But, you know, going back to IMS, you know, the first year, our motto was back to business. Because what we'd also seen was that Miami had transformed from being an industry-based conference into a big party.
It was a big party. When I did parties in Miami, I never even went to the conference. I just did my parties.
Sure,
you know, so that's exactly what you said.
Well, then what they did then as well, they moved the dates because of Ultra Festival. They moved the dates of the conference into spring break.
So you got all the spring break.
So you got all the spring breakers. You got this massive festival.
And all the party.
And so the business thing just sort of died away, to be honest. And then it was a case of people going,
you sort of
email me when you get home. And you're like, well, you could have told me that over the phone. You know? Let's sit down and sign a contract or sign a record or, you know what I mean? And when that changed, so our first year was that back to business was our little motto of that. Yeah.
So there's a few other questions we ask on this podcast. You live on the island. The magic of Ibiza, you definitely understand what that's all about because you've been here a long time now. Yeah. Did it bite you as soon as you got here?
It did, very much so, and I think that's generally how it affects most people that end up falling in love with the place. You fall in love with it very quickly, and you know, my wife was born here. You know, my wife's Ibitenka, and you know, we love this island. I mean, wherever we go. We go skiing or we go somewhere in New York or Rome or whatever, we can't wait to come home.
Well, it's got that feeling, isn't it? You know, it's got whatever you want to call it, the magic dust or the magic air or the pine trees or whatever it is. Is it spiritual or is it just you love the island?
You know what? It's hard to explain it, but it feels spiritual. Because the connection is so strong. When you come off the plane, the smell, the vibe, that just you're home.
Yeah.
It feels very, very strong. So I mean, I'm not a spiritual person, but it feels like a spiritual.
And that's why I can't understand it completely, because it bit me for the first minute I got off the plane of 1980.
Yeah.
So.
And it still does.
It still does, and I can't wait to come back all the time. So you know, and I'll probably retire here at some point. You know, that's. You know, because I love the island so much. Yeah. You know, I'm working towards that right now. We'll see where we get with that one.
I don't blame you.
It I don't blame you at all. Magnetic field, doesn't it? Keeps
I put it down to that. You know, they say about the ley lines and stuff. I you know, it keeps drawing me back. You know, that's what it does.
Listen, but there's other people. It sucks them in and spits them straight
back
out.
Yeah,
they're just not the right people for the island. You know, and people do try it, and then they end up 6 months they've left. Just didn't work out for them.
Well, also the excess of the island as well. People get carried away, don't they? You see that a lot.
Definitely.
You know, I've lost friends obviously over the years.
Yeah. No, totally. And people leave. You know, in the end,
they can't take it any longer.
It's almost like the island's trap, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you can't handle it, just leave.
Leave. Yeah.
You know?
And also, I mean, if you come in and live here, you've got the madness of the summer. Then you've got the it's so quiet in the winter.
I would say the winter is the prize for putting up with the summer.
Yeah.
Really, and it is. I mean, we have 5 months of mayhem. Yeah. And then 7 months of absolute paradise.
Yeah.
You know, which I you know, completely love. And you know, I think we know Ibiza's changed a lot. But
it has to, though. You know, when you constantly keep changing.
Put it in context, it's not changed in a vacuum. The world has changed.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you go anywhere now. You go to London or any city, and everything's way more expensive than it was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, everywhere's changed. I think Ibiza's changed less than a lot of other places because you've still got that vibe. You know,
one of the things I like that what you have done, and it's something that I tried to get done. No one was taking no notice of me for years. I said, the season's too short. I've been saying it for years. I said to all the club owners, because I work with all the club owners, I said, you know, open earlier, shut later. Yeah. This beautiful island, why do you want it only to be, you know, 4.5 months of the year? You know, you make it 6 months, you know, a little bit at the beginning, a little bit at the end. Yeah. And you're partly responsible for that with the IMS starting so early.
The IMS used to start at the end of May. Right. And then after COVID, we moved to the end of April.
Great move.
And all the clubs moved with us.
Yeah.
I think one little mistake for me is after the big opening week at the end of April, the IMS big week.
There is a lull.
I think the clubs should stagger their nights a little bit better.
Yeah.
And not be too competitive with each other. Because they're paying big bills.
You open on a Monday, we'll open on a Tuesday.
Something like that. Or we won't open that week, but you can open the week after and then do, you know, next year we'll switch. But have a bit of a conversation because, you know, you don't want to be losing the vibe.
They need a mediator to do that, I think.
Well, you do. And, you know, I did try, you know. When I was in Pasha, we did this thing in London called the Ibiza United. So they approached me to do it. Because of IMS and everything else. And at the time I was talking to Ricardo Urgel, Pepe Rossio, Martin Ferrer, all the old owners of the old clubs, right? The original owners.
The original owners.
I said, listen, so the town hall and the Consulate have asked us to do this joint party in London for the World Travel Market. And they were like, well, how are we going to pay for it? I said, right, we'll do a magazine. You'll all get your main suppliers, Coca-Cola, Red Bull, whatever, to advertise in it, and the revenue we get from that we'll use to fund the party. It ain't even going to cost us anything. Yeah. And we'll all ask our main resident DJ to perform in the club as a favour to the clubs because we pay them so much money. Yeah. Anyway, okay, we like the idea. Then it came down to, you know, the nitty-gritty. How do we list the clubs?
Oh, who goes first?
Right, so I went, well, simple, alphabetical. Yeah. So Amnesia at the top, like this. The recorder's like, why is Amnesia at the top? I said, well, it's alphabetical. It starts with the A, right? You know, and we went through all of that. Then it was, where are we going to do it in London? I said, well, Pasha London. At the time was Pasha London. Yeah. Why in Pasha London? And I was like, well, have you got an Amnesia London? No. Have you got an Eden London? No. Okay. And it was just like this big battle all the time. But then on the night in the party, they're all sitting around at VIP table together, drinking champagne, like long lost friends, you know. And then afterwards, they're all like,
I mean, back in my era, They never particularly liked each other because they were competing with each other.
Yeah.
But they did come together occasionally if they didn't like something that was going on the island.
Yes,
they did do that.
They 100% did do that, but they were, let's be honest, two-faced.
Yeah,
they'd say they love each other face to face, and they'll walk away.
They got me shut down at my place.
Yeah, of course.
Because we didn't want any competition.
Yeah, of course.
So I was open 6 weeks in La Passion.
Yeah.
Done. But listen, he turned me on a different journey. Then I went over to Coup.
Yeah.
He set me off on a different journey.
Right.
But it didn't stop me. It just set me on a different journey.
Yeah.
That's sometimes the island does that to you, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It doesn't always go exactly how you expect it to go.
Well, you've got to remember, Martin Frere was the director of Pasha.
Yeah.
And when him and Ricardo fell out, he went and opened Amnesia. Went and took over Amnesia.
I didn't know that. That's something to say. I didn't know that. And he got it really cheap, didn't he?
Yeah.
He bought Amnesia really cheap.
Yeah.
At the time, I was here, and I thought, I think it was £750,000. Like it was not even £1 million.
No.
And I thought that is cheap as chips.
Yeah.
He's going to make that back in the week.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. And I thought, bloody hell. And and how much has he made over the years on that place?
A lot.
A lot of money.
Yeah. Enough not to pay his taxes.
No, well, that's a whole nother story, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the story.
That's another story.
I think they got through it, thank God. So
yeah, no, but listen, the whole of Spain. There was 80 clubs,
That's what we were talking about earlier. That time, it was a
none of them paid their taxes, did they?
It was a cash thing. It was, and it's had to evolve, and now it has evolved into a huge business where they don't do anything now.
Really? It's gone the other way completely.
It's totally the other way. They don't even want cash. They'd rather have people buy tickets online, pay with a credit card for a drinks pass or whatever, and they've had to clean their act up. Everybody has, all the businesses. For sure.
Well, that's just life, isn't it? I mean, even around the world where there's very little cash anywhere.
People don't want it.
Everything's digital now.
You can't in Spanish shops now. You can't spend more than €1,000 in cash.
Really?
Anything.
Oh, really?
No, you can't go buy a laptop now for $2,500 in cash.
You have to do it on,
You have to do it on a card.
Well, it used to be like that in England. If you want to go and buy an expensive car, they wouldn't accept cash for an expensive car. But now it is, everything's digital. And
yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I've actually gone to a couple of places where they've refused to take cash, and they've just like, oh no, we're just card only.
It's legal. It's legal tender. They can't do it legally. They
can't.
I
I feel sorry for the buskers.
Yeah.
The musicians in the street. Because normally I put a couple of euros in, €5, but I've never got any cash on me. So,
They need to get a card
you get a little card machine.
I've actually seen it in London.
Yeah,
Some of them have actually got
they're pros in London.
It's like, okay, how's that working out?
He'll come out. He'll be here before long. Before long.
Good. It should be, because if they're good, I do like to give them a bit of something. If they're entertaining, why not?
That's they're entertaining them. That's what they're doing, aren't they?
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah.
Let's talk about music, because we are on an island which is the epicenter for music.
Yeah.
What have been your favourite records over the years?
So many. I loved Silicon Soul. Right On was one of my best tracks ever. Space Terrace.
Yeah.
Sunday Morning. Silicon Soul was just legendary, and that was nearly always Steve Lawler playing it.
Yeah.
And really, really well.
You're not the first to say that. I mean, John Jones from the Head Candy sort of fame, he hits one of these. He actually said the same as what you just said. He said, the Space at Terrace, that track, just takes me back there.
No, 100%. Every time I hear it, I literally go straight back to it. I can almost smell the terrace, It's like, I love David Morales, Needing You, when that came out. That was a big Space Terrace, and a Pasha track as well. I love that Luciano's remix of Lady Luck. The Lady Luck track. Have you heard that?
It's something I've probably danced to, but
you will have 100% danced to it.
Yeah.
It was the year when Lucci was doing amazing sort of remixes and reworks. I mean, he was doing things like playing a really fat bass line in Pasha, and then he'd drop Britney Spears' Toxic vocal on the top. And just blow your mind, because you just weren't expecting it at all.
Yeah.
So, Jamie Woon was the artist who did Lady Luck originally. Sort of a Chinese-looking guy, great musician, and Lucci did the remix of it, Lady Luck. And that year, it was the track of the summer.
It's great how they mash it up these days, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really we recently did the Fatboy Slim, and he is the king of the mashup, isn't he? I mean, he just takes all sorts of bits from all sorts of things and then puts it all together, doesn't he?
Well, when Lucci first played for me, when we started Vagabundos, I mean, it was a big gamble, you know, because he was quite underground, Lucci. He come from
he definitely is underground.
And Ricardo, I remember him saying to me, Dan, are you sure? I mean, we're €1 million deep here on this summer, but, you know, invested into Lucci's night. Yeah. Are you sure it's going to work? I'm like, yeah. I said, no matter what, it's underground, but it's sexy. Yeah. His music is sexy, you know. And
it's sort of almost on that DC-10.
It's totally DC-10, but it's a really sexy sort of. Sometimes he drops Latin beats in there, and I thought it's perfect for Pasha. He got this theme of the Vagabundos. Everybody had top hats and mustaches and eye makeup and so on, and it was a really good thing. But I remember the first night walking up the stairs behind the booth in Pasha, up to the top bar, and then onto the roof terrace. And when I got up there, David Morales was there. Typical shirt off, leaning on this handrail like that, looking straight down the booth onto Luciano, who's got 2 laptops, playing all the stems separately. So he's building the music as he's going along. And I looked at David, and he goes, okay, interesting. And then I walked off onto the terrace. About an hour and a half later, I walked back in, and Morales is still there, and he goes, he's genius, like that. And I thought, okay. If Morales thinks he's a genius, then he definitely is.
Listen, they all learn from each other as well, don't they? It's something new there. I mean, from my day back in the day, Nancy Noyes with Alfredo should be stood right next to the box, for hours, just seeing what's going on. Nicky Holloway again said that basically they nicked Alfredo's record box, brought it back to London. That's the way.
DJ's DJ.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're one of them, you're going to have your booth's full of other DJs looking at what you're doing. That's why they were doing white labels, wasn't it? And not even putting a name on there.
They said a little mark on it so they knew what it was themselves, didn't they?
Yeah, a little notebook with the code on there.
Because back then it was like, I've got this record, I don't want no one else to get this record.
Totally.
It was one of those.
Yeah, and a lot of them were acetates. That's why most of them, they had a tour manager because them acetates
and there were short runs of particular tracks. Only certain DJs had it.
Yeah, and I think acetate was good for about 12 plays, and then the quality started to die off. So.
I bet they were gutted about that.
They had to do another acetate, which cost money. That's the problem.
No, I get that.
Absolutely. The other question I would like to ask is, who have been your biggest influences on the islands?
I would have to say Ricardo Urgel, the owner of Pasha, was, even though we had our little fallout at the end, it was...
he still brought you in, didn't he?
He brought me in. He showed me the attention to detail for the world of nightclubbing and how much...
Was he hands-on when you were there?
Yeah, he was hands-on.
He wasn't when I was there.
He was hands-on with regards to making sure everything was perfectly done. You know what I mean? People didn't let him down because they knew he was watching, and it's not like he would walk around ranting and raving or whatever, but they all knew he was watching, and if you didn't do something, it wasn't done correctly. Certainly the production crew and the decor and all the rest of it, then he'd have a word, or at least he'd send somebody to have a word. But I think what he did, I mean, what was strange is when I first started to work for him in January 2000, I went to meet him. At the time, I think he had about 6 venues worldwide in Portugal, Buenos Aires.
There was 2 in Portugal,
there was, I think maybe Madrid was one, as well. He has 6. And then I remember speaking to him, he said, well, what are you going to do for us? Like when I got there, I'm going to do the lineups, right? But I said, I'm going to take your brand into the next millennium. And he said, what brand? Right?
Yeah, they didn't understand
They didn't understand it. He thought he got some nightclubs. He didn't realise the Cherries were a lifestyle brand, and they needed to become more of a lifestyle brand. So, I mean, I think within 5 years, I got Pasha from 2 nights a week to 7 nights a week packed, and we had 22 franchises within about 7 years of me getting there.
Wow.
And the clothing went through the roof.
The clothing.
We started a record label. We started multimedia channel. And the brand just grew exponentially. But the interesting bit was, even though we'd done Ministry Sound there, and Ministry clearly was a brand, They still didn't get it. They still didn't get that it wasn't about the bricks and mortar, it was about the identity of those cherries. Yeah. When you see a 1-year-old baby wearing cherries, and an 85-year-old guy wearing the cherries, you know it's it's a lifestyle brand, you know. Yeah. But
I mean, on this island, I mean, you know, people learn as they go along. I mean, one of my favourite people from this island was Brasilio. Yeah. And he gave me my chance and started us off and believed in us. And I looked up to him as someone who does my job, but does it beautifully. Yeah. And even he took him a long time to realise his worth. Yeah. With the La Troya, you know, he worked for the clubs. It weren't his own nights. And you know, he finally branched off and did his own La Troya thing. Yeah. And then even then, before he died, I come over. I had the same conversation with Brasilio. I had a meeting with him on the beach down at Playa and Bossa. I said, Brasilio, you got to take your brand around the world. You've got an exciting brand. You've got the real flavour of Ibiza, and you need to take it around the world. And we had a really nice conversation. And it wasn't that long after he died, which is really sad. And we're actually going to interview his nephew this afternoon. Yeah. Yeah, cool. Because I want to talk about Brasilio and I want to talk about La Troya because it is the flavour of the island. Yeah. It is the people that have been going to those parties for years and years. So, you know, it is, you know, even Brasilio, who I looked up to, still didn't quite understand the power of the brand. Sure. You know. But
I think as well, to be honest, you know, with regards to inspiration again, I mean, Pepe Rossio and Fritz at Space were very inspiring as well. They made an amazing venue down there. You know, and with the original daytime vibe, really, and a proper vibe, you know, a Brandon and Alex behind the board, and another, you know, sort of great inspiration for me, for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I do have this question I want to ask, actually, because this will be really useful for those that are inspired to be club promoters, because you both are, well, being club promoters.
I mean, yeah, you're slightly different, Rob, but the same job, really.
Yeah. We want to fill nightclubs.
Yeah. But what advice would you give to anyone that wanted to start promoting club nights?
You know, listen, essentially, if you're going to be a promoter, and he'll know more about being a promoter than me, but you need your own identity. You need to start small and build your own community. Okay. You know, if you take on a pub for 100 people and you consistently fill in that club on a Friday or a Saturday night or a Sunday or whenever, then you ramp it up and you go to a venue for 200 people and you go on to 500 people, and then at some point you can go, well, we'll put on a little festival in a park for like 500 or 1,000 people. You got, you know, young promoters like Appetite and these guys now. They did exactly that. They started off small. Now they're doing festival for 15,000 people, and you know, in Essex, and now the resident in Chinois for all of July. So. But I think it's important that you have your own identity, your own community, and you're loyal to your sound and your feel. I mean, that's what Renaissance was all about. That's what Cream was all about. Yes. You know, if anybody wanted to know Renaissance, they knew Jeff Oakes. They knew his style, his design work. They knew his sound, which was progressive house. So I think it's that. It's knowing you. And knowing what you want from it is the most important part.
Yeah, you got to grow gradually. You can't can't jump in the deep end, can you?
No.
Yeah, there's you got, and I did exactly that. Yeah. So exactly what you just said. Yeah. Started off, you know, we were doing Chelsea Football Club, you know, 1980. Yeah. You know, and bit by bit, you know, we got round to doing the Royal Albert Hall. We did, you know, the biggest club in the world at the time, Coup. You know, so yeah, we did exactly what you said. Yeah, you started off small and grew. Yeah, you know,
and you were the figurehead. Yeah. Like I said, you got your identity. Everybody knew Alan. You know, they knew what that night was going to be about, and then you build your community around that. You know, for sure.
And there's little tips that you can give the you know, if you're small and you're starting out. Find the ringleaders, find the people who are going to bring 10, 20 people. Exactly. Bring the DJs who are going to bring 40, 50 people.
That's your community,
That's the community, and that's how you build that community. Yeah. So there's a big tip for you people out there if you want to be a promoter.
Exactly.
And then
be prepared to lose some money.
Yeah, okay. on occasion, you're lucky if you don't lose some money on occasion.
Well, you know what? That's the job of a promoter. You win some, you lose some. You just want to win more than you lose. That's it. But you're going to lose sometimes.
I mean, famously, I mean, me and Tommy have done millions of parties. So, we've been pretty lucky over the years. Pretty much everything we did worked. Yeah. But I remember once, just the once, we did a party. It was about 1,000 people venue. One person turned up. Just one. I'd rather no one had turned up. But just,
you can blame something.
Well, he had to give his money back, and but there you go. It doesn't matter how popular you are, how busy you are. It was the wrong venue on the wrong night. It didn't happen. Didn't happen.
But you take that on the chin, don't you?
Yeah,
you roll up again the next time. And
do better. But listen, I remember that night vividly because it stuck with me. A bloody one person turning up.
The thing is, if nobody showed up, you could blame something. Maybe the marketing didn't go out or something, but one person showed up. So
it was it wasn't a good. I mean, we were quite good at doing good venues, and it wasn't a good venue.
Okay, right.
So we sort of knew, but we did. When you're on a wave, at the time we were doing so much, we thought everything would work, and it doesn't. That's not the case. It's not the case.
Yeah. I used to really enjoy the events like Chuff Chuff.
Oh yeah, brilliant.
Really great events in
they
great
do
locations.
those sort of weekenders and things like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're
stately
good.
homes. I mean, Jeff did quite a few of them, like Colwick Hall and Allerton Castle, and these amazing stately homes.
Yeah, there's been a few of those. I mean, Tony Streamer True Do's. That's a little like that.
Yeah, like that. Yeah.
I mean, I've been to Legoland, and I've been to different stuff that Tony's done, and they were them kind of parties. Yeah. Like people going away for staying the night and doing all that kind of stuff.
That is absolute. The example of having a community that will go with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, for sure.
I've done a few of those. I've done Monkey Island, that fantastic venue. Yeah. An island right in the middle of the Thames. People staying in the hotel, and it's like madness. So you have the party, and then there's the party after the party. It's crazy. That was brilliant. We did 3 there, I think.
Where's that?
It's sort of out. It's sort of Buckinghamshire on the Thames going out. Okay. It's just past Windsor. And it's one of those islands in the middle of the Thames. Okay. And there's one walk bridge you can go to and a big car park on the other side. But it's beautiful. There's peacocks.
It does sound great.
There's peacocks and there's boats and it's really nice.
Sounds fab.
Yeah. I mean, I asked about it again recently. And they take the numbers down to like we put a lot of people on the island. Yeah. But I said I think they only do weddings for like 200 people. I said, you can't make no money. You can't make no money out of 200 people, can you?
Not unless you're paying $1,000 each.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So it's one of them special places. It stays in my heart. What great parties they were. Cool. But they come around every now and again.
Yeah, good. Good.
And what do you do on this island to kind of relax, or is there any parts of this island that you really like?
I mean, there's so many places I like. I was lucky enough in 2019 to hike around the entire coast of Ibiza, like a 13-day hike, camping every night, and basically bathing in the sea and shitting in the woods and proper wild camping. Yeah. There was 12 of us, and I got to see so much of the island. Literally, I mean, we walked the coast by foot. Yeah. The only reason you didn't get lost is you kept the sea on the left. Yeah. If the sea was on the right, you're going the wrong direction. So if the sea was on the left, and we did a clockwise loop of the whole island. Yeah. Nice. And then from that, I just got the bug really for hiking more often. So now on Wednesdays, I have a hiking group at Wednesday mornings, and we all go walking together. I've got about 240 people on the group, and I think 120 have never actually been on a single hike. They're like them people who've got a gym membership but never go. Even though there's no cost to it, it's all mates just doing it, Yeah. But a lot of them, I think, are people as well who maybe have left the island, but they like to, because we put photographs.
Just in case they come back.
Yeah, it's if they come back, or they like the photographs, because we put the photos up every Wednesday morning.
Another little community.
Another little community, exactly. And. And then my wife, again, Ibithenka, her dad's an old Ibithenkan, 85 years old. I love the history of Ibiza. Absolutely love it. Like I said, when we look at doing Dorp Villa, when you got that ramp and you see those Roman statues, the one with the head missing. That's been there over 2,000 years, and that whole history of that, from Punic the Punic Museum there with all the tombs and everything.
We were talking about this with Aura because the history of Ibiza.
Amazing.
It is pretty amazing. I was talking about the big round things where they put the pyres on top and all that kind of stuff.
The pirate towers.
Yeah,
and they used to, Formentera, they used to hang pirates in cages and let them die. And it was to scare other pirates from coming
in,
And then they had the Corsairs, which is one of the statues in Ibiza town that used to protect the island from the pirates.
She was saying the Phoenicians, who were a bit fancy, used to have the purple dye and all that. I said they were the first hippies then, weren't they? Really?
They probably were. Yeah. And of course, the Romans created Salinas. They would stop off on the way and do the salt. And sail around and to preserve their food and so on.
We had this conversation. She said, "Why is salt so?" We had this conversation yesterday. I said it's to preserve the food. The fish and the meat and everything else.
Absolutely. Before fridges, basically. But and I love the history of Ibiza. I love the countryside. So, I can easily get lost on this island. And there's some amazing places to swim. We went one yesterday called Portachol. You have to walk to it. You can't. Or go on a boat.
Okay.
But most people go past on a boat because they're going to the fancy places or whatever where the restaurants are. This is no restaurants.
Just a little cove
cove with a couple of fishing boat shacks. They're
great though, aren't they?
Amazing. The sea is just super clean.
It's straight out of the sea and straight on the barbie and away you go. You can't beat that, can you?
Amazing.
Can't beat that.
Yeah.
So talking about that, favourite beaches? You got your particular ones that you think, wow.
Yeah. We particularly like Arenal Petit, which is a little beach just before Portinax. Now.
It's a long way up. That's right up.
It's a long way up. It is touristy, but it's the kind of tourists who go to Portinax, not the ones who go to Playa del Boston or San Ann or whatever. So it's very peaceful. The restaurants there's a great restaurant called Ribrots, which is there, and Calachucla, which is the bay before. Calacharaca, there's another bay before. And they're all these sort of beautiful chiringuitos that have still kept their charm, authenticity, and the money's right. They're not this silly, 100 quid a meal sort of thing. They're like 35, 30 quid a meal.
But listen, I go and eat in them places. You still, I still like El Chiringuito on Escabel.
I love it. I love Jonathan. In fact, we were there on Monday and we had a lovely meal there. But
it's a good atmosphere to eat on that beach, isn't it? It's not. I always feel quite happy eating there. I'd stay there for hours eating it.
It's lovely, but when you live here, you can't go there every week, or you need a mortgage. I understand people coming on holiday, and we go, maybe once a month or something like that. But again, we look at places like Calachucla or even Fish Shack.
Yeah, Fish Shack is famous.
I actually keep my own pot of mint sauce in the fridge there because we do amazing lamb chops. So if you go again, you have the lamb chops. Ask for Danny's mint sauce. The only rule is if you empty it, you have to replace it.
I get it. And so restaurants, give us a few more tips for restaurants, because this is going out to people that will come to this island and go, I remember he said about that restaurant. Let's go to that restaurant.
Well, I love Beach House down on Playa del Boston. Beautiful vibe there. Zuma again, that's one in our group, but the food is just absolutely.
Where is Zuma?
It's above Chinois.
It's on
the roof above.
They use the terrace.
Yes.
I love that terrace.
That's Zuma.
Do you not use the terrace for the club?
We've got the back side of the terrace that we use as a smoking terrace.
Because that terrace I think it's the best part.
It's amazing.
I love the terrace.
But the Zuma restaurant, it's insane. You can't get a table there.
Yeah.
Well, you can, now you know me. But, but a lot of people...
It's a bit like Casamaca with Avia, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a bit like that.
I think the food's better in Zuma, to be honest. But,
is it? Okay.
Yeah,
I've not tried it.
I don't mind the barbecue, but Zuma is, for me, is better than Nobu. The food's spectacular.
Pricey, obviously.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Again, it's better than Nobu, it's definitely pricey.
Oh, that's a good question. Maybe not,
because it's expensive at Casamaca. In fact, I'll tell you the truth. But I said, get me a table at Casamaca. He said, it's full. I said, get me a table at Casamaca. He said, you sure you want to go? I said, yeah. So we got there and I went with a friend of mine who was a pretty well-off fella. And I said, you order. And he ordered the ragu.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, €800 later. We never had a starter.
Sure.
We never had one bottle of wine. 800 euros, 400 each.
Yeah.
The dearest meal I've ever eaten.
But you know, going back to the inspiration, to inspiration.
Yes.
Javier Anadon, another guy who inspired me massively. We started working early days of Mambo, pre-parties down there.
Yeah.
He's built his business up.
But famously, me and Javier invented the pre-party.
Right, okay.
So but what happened, I've told the story many times, people get fed up of hearing it, I imagine. But basically, I was doing the parties and I was friends with Javier.
Yeah.
And he started Mambo '94 and he come up to me and said, Alan, do something with me. And I went, what can I do with you? I said, I'll run nightclubs and parties and you do a bar and a restaurant. And I said, what do you want to do? The party before the party? He went, yes, let's do that. And that was the
Well, do you know why I did it? I mean, I got it. We were doing 7 nights a week down there, but I was taking David Guetta, Swedish House Mafia, Oakenfold, all the big boys I was taking down there. The reason I was doing it was because in the cowboy days...
You wanted them all to...
No, in the cowboy days, the other clubs would start rumours that your big DJ had missed his flight.
Oh, okay.
So they'd be like, we're going
So you wanted it on show?
So the ticket seller would go, you want to go to Amnesia tonight? No, we're going to Passion, Paul Oakenfold. Oh, have you not heard? He's missed his flight.
No.
Right, and then
there's always tricks. There's always tricks.
Of course, and I'd hear these rumours. I'm like, how can I stop that? I was like, okay, let's get down to Mambo. And then it stopped because people would go, oh, he missed his flight. Like, no, we just saw him in Mambo. Oh, right, okay. So, and that was the reason we really pushed it. So thanks for starting that.
That's incredible.
Well, listen, you know, it's worked out well for him.
It was a nice vehicle.
How well has it worked out for Javier?
Absolutely.
I mean, that is Mambo.
But he's always very thankful.
No, listen. He's one of my three.
Yeah.
He's one of my three we were mates at the beginning.
Yeah.
When I got closed down with La Pasión, he always said, you should have done that with me. And I said, yes, we should have done that with you, because being Spanish and, we were just all English fellas. And it was pre-Europe. And, we were always friends, And, he always looks after me when I go down there. And he's good at that. The hospitality side of it, he's good at that.
I love the fact I've seen his kids grow up as well. Alan and Christian, I knew them when they were like literally, in nappies almost.
Christian calls me Uncle Alan.
Yeah. Now they're like bigger than me and like.
They've got their own kids now, haven't they?
They've got their own kids. I think Christian's got 2 or 3.
And Christian's wife, pretty much with Javier, he runs the business.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, she's really integral.
Elodie.
Yeah, Elodie. Yeah,
right, she's the machine.
Yeah,
she's a machine. That girl.
She's the woman behind the man.
I feel like yes. That was a good bet.
No. Listen, I have obviously contact with them if I try and do anything with any of them guys. It's Elodie that I speak to.
Yeah, she's ace. She's great. Yeah. He must be very proud of it.
So, and what have you got happening in the future? Anything coming up?
Well,
loads.
Listen, we opened Chinois the 2nd of April this year. We don't close until the 1st of November with the Ricardo Villalobos. So it's a big year. Our years are just getting longer. We have wondered about opening at winter because Pasha doesn't do it anymore. Yeah. So we thought
you should do the weekend thing.
We might just do Saturday nights.
I've been saying that Chinois has got a feeling of the old Pasha.
Yeah.
And and I like that. That is a good thing. So taking that mantle of opening at the weekends would be a good thing.
I think Saturday nights we can work the club. With curtains and stuff like that, we can actually evolve the club. It can be a bit smaller if we need it to be. If it's getting busy, we can open a curtain. So we're looking at that. And we're always looking for other projects.
You get the thumbs up from me for that one.
Yeah.
Definitely.
No, and you know what? I think
because we all come here occasionally in the winter for you're doing some business or you're doing something. So it's always nice to have something.
And there's 160,000 residents now.
Yeah, there's more than there ever was before.
I think when we started here, it was more like 100, 110.
Yeah.
120. Now
it was more like 60 when I was.
Yeah, there you go. Well, now it's more than double. It's 160 odd thousand. They reckon a resident now. So
and people who come and live here, I've got that. They don't mind going out, do they?
No.
Yeah.
And Ibiza, I think, deserves a nice venue open in winter, even if it's only one night a week.
Yeah.
Where you can just go clubbing till 4 or 5 in the morning.
Because it is a big, literally November. It's a different place.
It's an amazing place. And our last night, the 1st of November, it'll be sold out. So you know there's people who are going to do it.
You mentioned who's doing that night for you. He's an odd fish, isn't he?
He's a good lad.
He's an odd fish. I'd like to get him on. Does he speak good English?
Not really.
No.
Not really, no. He doesn't speak good anything, really. He's got his own language, you know. No, but he's an amazing DJ, and he is an artist. I mean, him and Luciano, they're artists together. When they play back to back, incredible. But you know, he'll suddenly lie down under the decks and go asleep for a little bit and leave Lucy playing.
He's
or
the
something.
campest DJ. He's the campest DJ I've ever seen. You know, I mean, he's got completely his own style.
100%, yeah.
You know, but I sort of get myself a little bit fascinated from watching him. You know, it's like, you know, you see him on clips and do something, and I have to watch it.
Yeah.
You know, he's definitely got something going on there.
Well, he's got his own community as well that they can't not go and see him. You know, they have to go, and they know that one in 8 shows are going to be weird at best. You know, but they still love it. They're not bothered. The other 7 are amazing. And then you get that one where you're like, Jesus, what went on there? But he's an artist, so that's it. You know.
So Danny, the whole reason you're here today, mate, is to induct you into the Ibiza Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You know, you definitely deserve, mate. You've done an awful lot on this island.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, young man.
Thank you, brother.
And as I say, we're gonna give Chinois the same, but we're gonna get a giant one made up for you for Chinois to put in the club, so everyone knows that, you know, Chinois have been inducted into the Ibiza Hall of Fame.
That's great. That's very good of you.
We get that this summer. We get that over to you at some point.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for telling us your incredible stories. And
great. We could talk for hours, couldn't we?
Everything you've done as well
we could,
for this island and for the music and for the artists and everyone involved.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Lovely stuff.
So that's all we have time for at the Ibiza Hall of Fame podcast. Remember to like, subscribe and follow us on all of our platforms.